Thank more awesome people, more, are showing a different perspective. More people that are willing to get out there and do the work of reentry. And this is a second time guest, Terrall E. Tillman, Lessons Learned, came back on to tell us some more about what's going on, about the awesome book that he wrote, the new podcast series. Terrell's got it going on.
No, God has blessed Terrall to be where I am today. So I'm just grateful. Thank you so much, Sarita, for having me on your platform again.
Absolutely.
I enjoy and love all the work you're doing. I follow you, I listen, I subscribe, and I share as well. So thank you for being the queen that you are and bringing this information to us, because we need wholesome, good reentry stuff so people can learn the right way. We don't need prison stories. We don't need the gangbanging stories. We need the stories that's going to help educate people, the people, and also the educators and people who are going to be service providers, so they can have more education and understanding, so we can get better results. That's what
absolutely. That's what it's about. We're showing stories of success, not the mess.
Yeah.
That's what we came through to get where we're at. So me and Terrall have both been incarcerated. Tell us, you've been out now 6 years, but when did you write the book?
I wrote Formula for Success, Reentry-030, when I went back in prison for the second time on my second federal stint. I wrote Formula for Success in 2015 when I was doing my federal sentence of 10 years. And I started writing it when I went to South Carolina, Edgefield. And I was in a dorm setting, and that was really interesting because I sat on my bunk amongst all the noise, all of the drama, and I just locked in.
Nice. So you're using the book as a teachable platform, correct? Not platform, but you get what I mean.
Yes, I'm teaching as a teachable curriculum.
As a textbook.
Yes, as a textbook, and I also have curriculum as well, lessons learned curriculum that I teach as well. And that's what I'm actually starting to push out there, reentry education.
Reentry education. Describe a little bit what that means.
Well, I tell people this all the time. Basic life skills is not going to help reentry people. Reentry people need reentry education. And reentry education is someone who's been through prison, who's been on the street, who knows the landscape, who's navigated through all of these courses, and majority of the courses, maybe not all, but majority of the things that reentry people go through, and write a curriculum. I've done that. I've taken my book right here, Formula for Success, Reentry-030. I've combined it with my lived experience, my professional experiences on the street, dealing with other professionals in other work setting places. And I said, no, reentry people need a special reentry education, because basic life skills is not enough. When a person been gone 10, 20, 30, 40 years, they're an infidel. They have to relearn again what it is to be in society. And I don't care how many degrees they got. I don't care how much they studied in school. You don't know reentry until you get on the street and start doing reentry, because that's where reentry starts.
I know one of my biggest barriers was the QR code. It was. And people tell you all the time, oh, just scan this QR code. So I told the story. I went to a job fair when I first got out. I was so excited, and I had a really good relationship with my parole officer. I just got out, and I was like, I'm going to this job fair. I'm really excited. So as soon as I walk in the job fair, it's Missouri Department of Corrections, Missouri Highway Patrol, and the local police department. That is the three main employers that they had there. So then there was the city of Columbia, which I didn't know if I qualified for, but they said, oh, just apply online. I thought they were putting me off, because I was used to, before I went home, you went to a job fair, you get application on the spot. Maybe they interview you, or I just knew that all good things were going to come from this job fair.
Yes.
But and I went on to another booth. They said, scan this QR code and fill out. I just held my phone up because I didn't know what else to do. So I held it up and acted like I was doing something. These are the things that people go through when they come home, and it's traumatic. Like I left in tears. Well, I waited till I got out the door, but I was distraught. Now, Fast forward, I actually did get a job that day. Somebody that I talked to sent me to a place and I did get a job. But in that moment, thank you, I was crushed.
Yes. And that's one thing about reentry education that is very vital, because a simple thing like that, some people don't even know how to turn a cell phone on. Mm-hmm. Let alone scan a QR code or set up an email or go on Google and search for things or go on YouTube and search for things. But these things are very teachable. And the thing about it, as a person coming home, we are vulnerable and we don't want to be shamed by something simple that others think we already know and should know that we don't know.
And just nobody wants to feel that way.
And we've learned how to fake it to make it, being in prison. Because you have to have on these different masks and everything's not going to go your way. And when something don't go your way or something triggers you, you got to pull back and you got to mask it. So what you did was mask it. But at the end of the day, you was like, wow, I really need to know how to learn this QR code thing, right?
Yeah.
So, but at the end of the day, this is why we do the reentry education, and this is why we do the mentorship, because we got to educate people on the simple things that a lot of people think that we already know that we might not.
Yes, and one of the most crushing things is to tell someone you don't know and be met with, "Oh, that's funny," you know? "Oh, are you serious?" Yes, I'm very serious, and it's not funny to me because I don't understand. It's almost the same as being illiterate. Because when you come out, like the computer skills, I could not send an email with an attachment. I did not know how to put things on the Google Calendar. There were so many things that I struggled with that may seem simple to somebody because they've been doing it their whole lives. So we were talking before we came on about staff training, how people need to be trained so that way when we come and we're having these issues that they can somehow relate. And that's something you're doing. Tell us about it.
Yes, I have reentry staff training and staff training in general, but the reentry staff training piece is very vital because now in society, nationwide, everybody is getting into the reentry field as a counselor, service provider, a consultant, a case manager, peer navigator, peer support specialist, credible messenger, change agent, whatever name you call this, people. Whatever name you call it. And then you also have the people who have never been in jail, who have just have that job as a community health worker or a peer support specialist or a receptionist or whatever, who's serving reentry people. Reentry people, we are a special kind of people. We've already been told no's. We've already been spent to walls. We've already been afforded all the barriers and all the no's that we can. And we've already been sent a whole bunch of cloud of smoke, you know where, for nothing, for no reason. And mainly because a lot of people don't have the answers to where we need and they don't know how to service us. So what I've seen being home and working in the workforce environment of reentry is that a lot of the staff need to be trained.
Yeah.
Because a lot of staff get onboarded, get hired, and just because they may have been formerly incarcerated or they know somebody who's incarcerated or they're a peer support specialist or a community health worker, they figure that they know how to do their job. That's not true. That's farthest from the truth. When you get a job, you have to be trained. If you want to be a data technician, you got to be trained to know how to put in data. You want to be an engineer in the studio, you got to know how to turn them knobs. If you want to do reentry and service reentry people, you need to know how to talk to reentry people, how to read reentry people, how to have that empathy for reentry people, and how to provide a service for them that they need and they're asking you for when they come through that door of your establishment without any biasness or judgments.
That's right. That's
what we need. That's why I teach it, because a lot of people bring their own stuff to work, their own biases to work, their ignorance to work, and then a person coming from prison looking for outlets and resources in a new support system gets the flack of it because this person is at work that don't know how to do their job.
They don't have the right tools.
They don't have the right tools to do their job, the service to get the best results that they need. And that's why I do the staff training, because I break it down communication skills. It's the reading skills of, the actions and behaviors. It's things that you might say, smell that trigger people. So these are things that the service providers need to be aware of so that they don't do it or refrain from doing it. And then that way they can get the best results, the best connections, get the rapport with those clients that's coming in there for service. And that's how you get those people to open up to you, because you give them a service. They have the empathy and they feel it in their energy. They feel it in their spirit that you're really trying to help them.
That's right. That's right. So you put together a toolkit for both the person who is coming out and the person that's helping them. So that's very cyclical. I love that. Everything's working in a circle. Can you tell us a success story?
I can tell you a few success stories, but I'm gonna go with this success story of someone that I know who has actually been home and they got their own nonprofit and they're doing very well now. And like I said, I have a lot of them, but I'll give you this one. I'll give you this success story. And this person, they're one of the top people in LA County doing violence reduction and all that. I'm gonna speak on my guy, Ben Taco Owens. He's actually the executive director of Detours, and also he collaborates with APU, Advocates for Peace and Urban Unity, and he also sits on the SoCal Ceasefire Committee as well. This brother went to the feds years ago. When I first went to the feds in 1991, we were some of the first people from LA to actually go to the feds on their first run, and when they first changed the crack law. So brother went, did his time, got out. He started the nonprofit Detours to help people coming home get their license and ID and all of that good stuff. Then in the 2000s, the mid 2000s, amongst him doing the American stuff with Jim Brown and all of that good stuff. Once American was disassembled, we started an intervention in Los Angeles, which was gang intervention, community intervention. We was trained through Levita, PCITI, which is Professional Community Intervention Training Institute. Shout out to the late Dr. Akil Bashir, and shout out to his daughter, Halima Bashir, who's keeping that legacy going. And we keeping the training. So Taco graduated from the first class. I graduated from the second class. But from that point on, prior to that, from him getting out, he had made his mind up that he wanted to be a difference maker in his neighborhood and the community and, combat the violence and the gang stuff. So he went full-fledged in, got certified through those places, and he's one of the faces of intervention and violence prevention throughout the nation.
Oh, I love that. Well, while we're speaking about nonprofits, I'm going to go ahead and shout out my own nonprofit, A Home for Her. We're a 501c3 here in Columbia, Missouri, hoping to serve women within the next 6 to 12 months with a phase structured program for women who are reentering from the penitentiary, and also women who are affected by domestic violence. So that is my nonprofit organization, which we're trying to get off the ground here in Columbia, Missouri, but it will come to fruition because God's got his hand on it, just like he's got his hand on you.
And look, you're not trying, you're doing.
That's right.
We ain't trying to do nothing. We're doing what we're doing.
We're doing it. That's what I needed.
The ideas have been up here. The mindset has been up here. It's in our heart and spirit. Now we're doing it.
That's right. That's right. Now, where can we find your book? How can we go buy the book?
You can buy my book on Amazon, or you can also go on my website, lessonslearned.com.
Lessons learned with a Z. Lessons learned
with a Z, like that right there behind me. That Z.
Yes.
Right there. That's what makes the difference. Lessonslearned.com. And you can get my book. You can order it on there, and I can send it to you at half price. On Amazon, It's $100. And if you get it from me, you can get it for half price.
Okay.
Do their tax thing, so that's what it is. But yeah, you can definitely go on Formula for Success. Or you can go on any one of my Instagram pages, and you can also find me there at those places. But you can definitely go to my website, which is lessonslearnedwithaz.com, and it'll pop up, and you can order your book there.
Right on. Well, let's talk a little bit about Black Writers on Tour.
Yes, Black Writers on Tour is a event that Miss Rosie Milligan puts on in Los Angeles. I actually went to the one 2 years ago, and she invited me to come back this year because this is the annual anniversary. So I'm going to actually go back on there, and she has all kind of writers, Black writers and color people who write books to come display their stuff, get it out there. And she also has different workshops during the presentation and during the event to help people learn more, grow more, and it's a big networking thing. So I'm going to go back. I'm actually going to have an interview with her probably next week on her show. Awesome. And yeah, I'm going to go back on there because it was a great turnout. I had like about 3 or 4 people that I brought in too as well. Miss Noreen McClendon, my guy Anthony McDuffie, my guy Joseph P. Langdon. He came down from New York, and he, we was like the 3-piece special in the building, and we collaborated, and we all had our own books there, and it was a great turnout. So I'm gonna do it again this year. So yeah, and it's really good. Dr. Milligan, she's the unofficial mayor of LA that's pushing the line for the queens and the kings and the community to educate people on a lot of different things. So shout out to Dr. Rosie Milligan as well.
Yes,
because she's
now you also have you've got all the swag for lessons learned. Yeah. Tell us how we can get that off the website.
I got merch. Don't leave.
He's got merch.
Don't leave it home without it. And you can actually go to my website on Instagram. Or you can go on Instagram or the website, but you can go on Instagram, Lessons Learned on Instagram, or Formula for Success -030. You can go on any of those platforms, or the real Tillman A. Craig. Any one of my platforms.
The real Tillman A. Craig. Okay.
Tillman A. Craig. So I have about 5 accounts on Instagram. I got LinkedIn. I'm everywhere, TikTok and Facebook. So this is how I do. It's social media, free marketing and advertising. So hey, why not? Go ahead and get it in.
Okay. Wow, that's awesome. So we can find the book on Amazon. We can find you on Instagram. We can find you on Facebook. We can find you
LinkedIn, everywhere. Find me.
Yes. Awesome. Terrall, thank you so much for coming back on. I sure appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me, Queen. And I am grateful and honored to be on your show because you're doing great things. You're doing great things, and you're linking up with the right people that are putting you in the right spaces, because this is what it's about. Getting out here, putting your line down, pushing your line, one foot after the next, taking your time, being patient. Couldn't rush a day in there, so you don't rush a day out here.
That's right.
Strategically move. Keep your mind right. Self-care is important, because even though we get out of jail, we want to just run till our bodies pass out. That's not good. But we have to learn that balance. We have to learn that balance to work, self-care, because life be lifing. And when stuff happens in life and there's no directions or no book to give us that information, we got to turn to the Creator, allow him to tap into us and calm us down and lead us the right way. And we just got to be obedient.
That's right. When you have no one, you've got Jesus. I used to sit on my bunk all the time, real quiet. And my friend would say, "What are you up there doing?" I said, "I'm talking to Jesus, my best friend." One time she finally said, "I bet he's tired of hearing from you."
That's one thing God don't do. He's never tired of us.
That's right.
So he got us. So it's nothing wrong with reaching out. That's what we do.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We can't wait to see you back on the show again. You have a great day, and thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you so much for having me.